Sir, are you an anarchist?
Yeah, kinda. Yeah, sure. Well,
Okay, kind of sure, yeah. So you're anti-tariffs, intellectual property, data privacy, pro-free speech, capitalism, migration, safe child. Oh, okay, wait, let's see here. You're an anarcho-capitalist, polycentrist, I can vegan, atheist. Okay, so what about drugs?
you can do
You use
drugs.
drugs, dude.
Yeah, just do
Okay,
drugs.
you should put pro-drugs, too.
Oh shit,
That's a
yeah.
pretty fucking big one.
Damn, dude. Okay, thanks. I'll add that in.
Tiny, bro. Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely support pro free speech. So why do you endorse capitalism? I think that the current state of our capitalism, like the United States, for instance, is just really fucking crippling the lower economic class and those who are socially disadvantaged, and sometimes just for things like their skin color.
Well, I think I'm not really sure. I think things are generally really good right now. I think it's much better than it used to be 20, 50, 100 years ago. I think capitalism is really good at allocating resources to where they need to be. It's like a cybernetic system for communicating where resources are best utilized, right? The price system. I think it's really good.
Okay. So let me ask you this question then. What is your least favorite feature of capitalism? What do you dislike the most about capitalism?
That's an interesting question. I've never been asked that before. What do I dislike the most? I guess how much capitalists seem to value degrees, education degrees, and how much everyone is lying about their qualifications all the time, and how it seems kind of that it's kind of nonsensical when you're starting up building your resume. You just kind of have to just make shit up, or either exceptionally untalented and unexperienced and unqualified, or everyone around me is just making shit up. It's one of those two, and it makes me really depressed sometimes.
So what do you do?
I deliver food and groceries through Instacart and DoorDash. Oh fuck.
Okay. What do you want to do? Or is that what you want to do?
I don't wanna do anything. I just wanna debate people on Omegle, so I'm here. So I'm not really the perfect guy to ask that question because I don't really wanna do anything.
No, I understand that. So because what I believe, right, and what I think is interesting that you even remotely, especially with a statement like that, I don't understand how it is that you can possibly endorse capitalism. Because here's the thing, right? Is in a capitalistic society, right? Labor is value, right? And in order to generate value, one must labor, or sell their labor specifically. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be something as simple as manual labor. It could be something as sophisticated as like a neurosurgeon, right? And you put a sliding scale value of valuation on people's labor, right? So here's like a quote that I've heard, right? It's like, I do not dream of labor, right? And neither do I. I think that if you want to, I think a lot of people, it's very necessary to have like some sort of structure, right? Or some sort of like daily task that must be accomplished. And I'm totally okay with that, right? If you want to pay somebody, I don't know, I don't necessarily agree with like a monetary system right now, but like if you want to pay somebody or the equivalent, right, for doing the amount of work that they would like to do, I think that that's perfectly acceptable. However, in a capitalist structure, what that means, right, is that you have to sell your labor and your time and your body, right, even if you're not like doing like sex work or something like that. I'm selling my body every day that I stand 9 hours on my feet as a line cook, right? I believe that everybody should fundamentally have access to housing, fresh water, food, education, utilities, internet, the whole shebang, right? And if they don't want to work, they shouldn't have to work. But if they do, then they could. Capitalism demands that you are of some worth. And when you say that you don't really want to do anything, you are of no use to a capitalistic society. And I don't understand how you could endorse one with the current, like your current mind state. I think that's a little backwards.
Sorry, okay. Just that last statement, could you repeat it one more time?
Okay, so I just don't understand how it is that you could possibly endorse like a capitalistic structure, right, or a society, just with what based upon what you said, you don't want to work, right? Capitalism demands that you work or sell your labor in order to generate, capital, right? So why are you trying to feed a monster that you don't want alive?
Okay, I think I got it.
How does that benefit you?
Yeah, of course. So first thing you said, like in a capitalist society, everything, all value has to come from labor or something like that. I think that if there was a society that found a way to create value without labor, that they would be alive and happy and healthy and prospering. But we don't see those societies, so apparently we all have to work to make shit happen and to live.
Well, I reject that. I don't believe that.
You think?
Why? Why do we have to?
You think stuff?
We could get. I mean, it's not going to happen overnight, right? But like through automation and shit like that, everyone eventually is going to be fucked out of some sort of job.
No, that is not true. That automation isn't magic. It doesn't automatically fix everything. It doesn't mean food falls from the sky, resources will keep repeating and replenishing. That's not what automation means. That's not how automation works. Automation just means where specific repetitive tasks get done by machines. That's all it means. It doesn't mean scarcity is solved. It doesn't mean management is solved. Repairs are solved. It doesn't mean all work is solved. It's never gonna be like that. Maybe in like a billion years. I don't know.
Maybe with current computational power, right? But like conventional computational power, right? Because we're kind of at the edge of like what it is that we can do with like silicon based like like motherboards and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
We're approaching kind of, who knows what the fuck is going to actually happen, like the upper limits of that. And then the next exciting step for me is something like quantum computing, right? Which is just orders of magnitude much more sophisticated. And I really just fail to see how we couldn't eventually, I'm not saying like anytime soon, like at all, right? Because I think that's ludicrous, just like you're saying right now. In this day and age, yeah, it's absolutely asinine to think that we can, automate everything. But eventually, when we do reach that point, and we can, if that's a goal that we want to work towards, like not working as much, but in this capitalistic like structure, there's no motivation there's no incentive for that. They just want you to work. So you fucking die, dude. Eat the rich. Like, fuck capitalism.
I don't think that's a good mindset to have. I think it's a misunderstanding of what progress, technological progress means for a society, that if we just make machines that work and then nobody has to really do anything to live. That's not how it can't work like that. What it really means is that like your standards of living generally increase. You generally have cheaper things. You generally can survive by working less. All those things that happen, all those things are true, but it doesn't mean that everyone can just live optionally for free. It's just not that level of fixing issues, because we don't have like machines and humans. They act in very different ways. Like if you look at Boston Dynamics, they can't even get a robot to walk, let alone do all the things that a human performs. Like we still need human labor to do like 99.9% of the things. It's just these repetitive tasks that are like, this is what machines do, okay? They do this, okay? And even then, it has to be all...
Okay, but yeah, I feel like you're really short-sighted, though.
No,
what about in 100 years? What do you imagine that a robot will be capable of doing in 100 years?
It's gonna be capable of doing a lot, true. But it's not gonna mean that like a society will be able to... Because you're gonna have this. You're gonna have a society that, if you hypothetically do things this way, that you have a bunch of super robots that the government invests in, and then everyone just lives as like a society that's like as one giant socialized corporation with fully automated businesses, and everyone is just collecting profits and distributing to citizens as the universal basic income and something like that. If you would have that country would be sufficiently poorer than all other countries, because in all other countries people are working, okay? And even if you have this safety net for everyone...
make me rich?
Sorry?
Why does laboring make me wealthier than somebody who does not have to labor?
Because human action leads to creation of new wealth. new wealth, and only humans can do this. Machines can't do this. Machines can only do
I
things.
think that wealth is just a fucking made up concept, dude.
That is not true.
Like
that is.
Monopoly bucks, bro.
I think this keyboard is real, and it takes humans to do it. We can't just let machines do this and expect that they will keep happening forever. Humans are still needed to make these things. And this chair and this TV and this vegan honey,
eventually,
Dr. Pepper. And I don't know what you mean by it.
Does that scare you?
It doesn't scare me at all. It makes me feel depressed that I'm living in this current time where we still need a lot of labor, and in future we will be able to make much more things with much less labor. But labor never comes out of the picture, really. Well, like what will happen
is capitalism then practical once we hit that midway point? Well, like
yes.
you're saying, where it's going to be a lot less labor.
Yes, what will happen? Like, if you look at like even the homeless people of today, they live fucking better than kings of 1,000 years ago. Well, relative to where you're looking at, but this is in fact reality. Like some homeless people live better than some kings.
I've been fucking homeless, like chronically homeless, and I don't think that's true.
Are you still homeless?
I have first-hand experience with that shit. Huh?
Well, I think you're doing fine right now. You have like a drink. You're using the internet to video chat with strangers and debate about economics. I think you're doing okay now, aren't you?
I'm just a gifted fucking burnout, dude.
Nice. Yeah.
At the end of the day.
But like I'm saying, the standards of living of the lowest will keep increasing as well. I think
they do, but at a fucking dude, at a snail's pace. I also think it's just atrocious how we like address like the unwanted or the unseen aspects of society as well.
I've seen like a huge shift within my lifetime just from my own personal experience. I used to work with my parents in the field all fucking day, and now I'm in America doing DoorDash. Like I'm working like 1 hour a day, maybe 2 hours a day, and it's in like 5 days I can pay the rent, and then I can buy fucking vegan shit. Okay, I can use my money for activism. It's amazing how far we've come. If you told me all this would be possible when I was a kid, I would not believe that. I think if we are just dedicated and serious about living comfortably, you can do it. Okay, but if you have very high time preference, and if you're unwilling to change your life, it's not gonna happen. I think it's possible, and I think it's becoming more and more possible.
Who is it that demands that I change? Who demands that I change my life in order to acquire more material objects?
You do.
Or no.
You either do or don't.
Why can't I have a cool house? Why can't I have a mansion and a Lamborghini for free?
Well, someone has to make those things, right? And I don't feel like making those things for you.
Who demands it? But like
you can go and make them if you want them. Go out in the scrapyard and make those things. I don't care. You can do it, but I won't make them for you.
Well, no, and I understand that, right? And I'm not going to make shit for you either. But the thing is like there's the sinister structure is once again capitalism.
I don't think it's sinister.
Every other point that you have here is like totally fucking on the money. That's the only bone that I have to pick. This is why I'm just wondering, if you have a concrete defense of it. Because like I said, like you said, right, yourself, that you could not imagine what it is that you're doing right now, right? When you were a child. And how old are you?
Yeah, I'm 25.
You're 25. Okay. So in the span of 10 or 12 years, whatever you want to consider a child still, you witnessed a miracle.
Yeah.
I
live like a fucking god. Yes. And I'm poor. I'm fucking poor. Yeah. Okay.
So why is it then such a logical leap to then what's going to happen in another 15 years?
Mm-hmm. I mean,
then another 15 years.
If I stay responsible, and if I work harder and save more and invest money wisely, if I research, I can easily do those things now. I'll live even better. I'll be even better off.
I don't want to work hard, dude. I don't want to work harder.
Yeah, but no one really does.
Exactly. So why the fuck are we under a system that demands, in order for us to be of any worth, we must labor? Fuck that shit.
It's not that their system is making moral claims about you, moral prescription. it's just
What
that,
about the homeless people? What about the drug addicts that can't get jobs? Like, or what about the people that just don't want to fucking work? Where are they? They're on the fucking street, dude.
mhm.
They're not living comfortably. And I'm not arguing that everybody should have a fucking mansion and a Lamborghini, right? But I'm arguing that if people don't want to work, they shouldn't have to work, and they should be provided with all of the basic amenities.
Okay, can you I agree. That we should stop banning banning rich people giving out tiny houses and building tiny houses, and we should remove zoning laws that prevent new housing, high density housing, affordable housing being built.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay. Okay. And see, I think that's the thing, though, right? Is the other thing, right? Is like to point, like to your like for an argument for your side, right? Is that if you were to do something like that, right, and if you were to convince the rich fuckheads, the rich like ultra white, hyper xenophobic, racist motherfuckers that create these zoning laws, because all they want to do is keep brown and black people away from their and poor people from
NIMBYs.
anywhere near
Yeah.
their structures. Yeah. So if you convince these people, all of a sudden you snap your fingers, and then there's a fucking housing boom, right? And not necessarily a conventional one, but just so that we can house people that are homeless, right?
Hmm.
I defy you to tell me that our economic upturn wouldn't just be fucking ridiculous. Because one of the things that you need in order to generate value, right, or which is what the capitalistic structure fucking absolutely adores, right? Is you gotta have a fucking stable house. You gotta have a stable environment. You have to be a stable individual. It's like, do you know what Maslow's hierarchy of needs is?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so the economy, right, or like the job market, or like the pool of labor that is available right now, right, is essentially either like people that are in poverty, right, and sometimes extreme poverty, right, but then there's just this like select undercrust of people that are just fucking useless, right, leeches. So what if we give the leeches homes, right?
Sorry, what?
I think that would be a really good start. But what I should also be able to, even if I'm a millionaire, if there's enough affordable housing or whatever, just like free housing units, I should be able to go up there and say, hey, I need a free house. Like, what that would start to do is then to have people like looking around and be like, well, I think property value is a fucking crazy idea too. Like, you're paying for a fucking land, and like it just, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's all very like intrinsically woven together. Safe child labor? What the fuck does that mean? Hold on, I didn't read that. That's it. That's applying that you want child labor to be okay, but it has to be safe.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't include like harm, danger, and stuff like that, I think kids should be able.
So, like, what's too young to work?
Negative infinity. I don't know. Whatever you can find a way to employ anyone, you should be able to.
Don't you think that would just lead to just like fucking absolute, like, that'd be fucking insane, dude. How does a child give consent to safely labor?
What the
fuck?
I think if instead of going to school, I had the opportunity of like working like even for free, like building internships, building my resume from like early, like when I was like 12, I probably would have had a much more successful career by now. Like, I don't think it's for everyone and anyone all the time, but I think it should be an option.
Okay, there's a gigantic difference, right? Because I feel like that's poorly worded. I would actually, you know what? No, I don't even, because, okay, so if our age of consent laws, right? So it just varies for like place in the world, right? But usually it's anywhere from 16 to 18, right? For like sexual intercourse or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. That's when it's deemed by the powers that be, right? That it's those people are capable of making a decision that they can, they can't be like coerced into it, right?
Yeah.
It's arguably when people are thought to be adults. you mean to tell me that you want a minor, right, who's unable to decide what it is that they can do with their body, right, to have the option to be like coerced into labor? That sounds pretty fucking shitty, dude. Like, because any like, if we agree that kids can drink or drive or have sex, why the fuck should they be able to work? Dude, you're just like fucking throwing little children into the fucking capitalistic law. Like, just this fucking shredder, dude. You're just gonna have a hyper jaded workforce by the time that they're actually like capable of, by the time that when they should be working. I mean, I started when I was like 15. I don't think 15 or 16 is too bad of a time to start, but like any younger than that, dude, that's fucking soul crushing.
Sure. Did you ever do chores as a kid?
Fuck yeah, I did, dude. I mowed like 5.5 acres. I did my front and back lawn. I did like house chores. I was doing all of my own laundry by the time that I was 7 years old. I knew how to cook dinner by the time I was like 9. Like I'm a very capable person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm extraordinarily capable, and I've done a shitload of fucking work in my life. Like, that's the thing, is there's no silver spoon argument, dude. Like, and then I lived the next fucking 10 years off and on being chronically homeless. And dealing with like mental health issues, dealing with drug addiction. Like, there's a whole lot of shit that I've experienced, and this is why I'm like so adamant and vehemently like so passionate about shit like this.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever done chores?
Of course I have, and it's been like the most tyrannical, most bullshit, most oppressive, most hierarchical experience in my fucking life. When I moved out, when I left my parents, I was the freest person in the fucking world, the happiest person ever. I've never been so fucking happy when I left those assholes, those tyrannical motherfuckers. I don't want to see them. I don't want to hear them. They're like they working in the field all day by the decree of this authority that has control over your entire life, and having to live with them all the time, especially they have the ultimate decision over your living conditions, over whatever you do. They can give you any ultimatum. It's the most tyrannical, oppressive relationship you'll ever have with anyone, depending on which parents you happen to be born with. Right, and when you're including like options of specialization, like instead of having a tyrannical relationship, you get food, you have to do all of these things. The difference between like going to your neighbor and they give you money voluntarily for mowing their lawn, for helping them out with like some mechanical work, it's like day and night. It's a billion times better. I think every kid should have that opportunity.
Well, okay. What you're saying is they should be afforded the opportunity. Correct. You're not saying that you feel like that's something that is necessary.
Yeah, I don't want institutional coercion to force kids to work.
So what do you do with the kids that don't want to do that shit? They just want to be kids.
They just do whatever else they want.
I mean,
maybe you can see some child has a cooler cell phone than you, and they're like, "Hey, when did you get that? Did your mom and dad buy it for you?" No, I actually went here and I worked my ass off for like a month or two, and then I bought it with the money they got.
But I just fucking hate that, dude. I think that's so fucking like.
Nah, you also
baby boomer fucking idea, dude.
Well, it wouldn't be like a 9 to 5 full-time work in like super dangerous environment. Like, I think it should be like based like on non-coercion, on safety.
I think that what a more viable option would be, right, is that I believe right around like 6th or 7th grade, right, if people like when they're you go through primary grade school, shit like that, right. But I feel like that once maybe somebody hits about the age of 12 or 13, right, I absolutely agree that there should be alternatives presented to them, as in like maybe a vocational schools, right? We definitely need to expand on that. But it's still got the structure of like school, right? Because if you just say, hey, fuck it, all of a sudden 12-year-old, like 10-year-olds and up can work. Do you think that capitalism would try to take advantage of that and exploit child labor?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, so I think what the better argument or the better like position to take on an argument like that would be like maybe we should look into expanding options and like the validity of vocational programs for kids that know that they're just not going to be in academia, dude. I think that's much smarter to say, and I think that's a much safer bet, because then you're having them supervised in a scenario like in where they can be doing like on the job training, right, for whatever vocation it is that they'd like to do. But if they are doing that, they need to be paid. They're laborers. They need to be paid.
Yeah, that's like a milquetoast version of what I'm advocating for. Sure, yeah. That's
Yeah,
right.
is it a little bit watered down? Sure. But, I just think that that's like especially when it comes to children and like the fucking just like pure, like, amount of control, that like vulnerability that they exhibit, right? I just think it's fucking, you need to hedge your bets, brother.
Yeah.
Anyways, hey, I'm gonna go. It was really fun. I hope I didn't sound like too angry or anything. It's always really fun debating people.
I hope I made sense.
No, of course you did. And that's the thing is like I nitpicked two things. Otherwise, I think that like in terms of like what it is that you got going on, I think it's fucking wonderful. I agree with a lot of the tenets of like what what it is that you got going on. So, oh shit. Yeah. Oh, it's a beautiful girl calling me.
Okay.
Perfect.
Good luck, man.
Take it easy, brother.
Have fun. What a pleasant